Monday, everybody, and welcome back to the Couchside Judges. I'm Scott Fontana. Follow me on Twitter at Scott_Fontana.
And I'm Dan Urban. Follow me at the Dan Urban. Follow the podcast at Couchside Judges, and subscribe to us wherever you listen.
And if you like this show, give us that 5-star review you've been waiting to do.
And as always, we talk judging in MMA, so you should read the criteria at abcboxing.com.
Dan, we had a very, very busy fight weekend here.
A bit.
It was UFC, it was Bellator, it was Eagle FC, it was ONE FC, and that doesn't even get into some of the other peripheral things like bare knuckle, which we don't really pay attention to because that's not MMA.
Yeah, I don't care about bare knuckle.
Boxing, there was that crazy knockout as well. Did you see that one?
I did not. No, I didn't watch any fight that wasn't UFC or that we didn't have to talk about today.
I see. Yes. So, like I said, you're more of a casual fight fan.
Well, this week, yeah, my side job took up all my time on Saturday.
This is your side job,
and I didn't want to spend my Sunday watching regional MMA. So,
fair enough. You really do not like Bellator, sir.
Put it this way: if I told you, I say, "Hey, Scott, you got to watch this crazy fight at EFC, a local promotion in northern New Jersey. They got it on YouTube. You need to go watch it now." You'd be like, "Yeah, I'll take your word for it that it was a good fight."
I don't know about that. I don't know. It depends who it's coming from. And obviously we're talking about a degree here, which is a crazy fight, which is not how anything was sold to you in this particular case of the Bellator weekend. But if you tell me, you being a man that I trust and appreciate, you got to watch this fight, it's crazy, I'll do it for you, sir. I would do that for you.
I don't think you would. I think
you know what? You got no faith in me.
Because that's me setting the stage for how I present, Bellator. So.
All right, fair enough. But anyway, so let's dive in a little bit with UFC first. Give you what you'd prefer to talk about. Which UFC Vegas 50. We finally arrived at the 50th Vegas non-pay-per-view show at the Apex. Congratulations. It was just wonderful. Actually, it really was. Like in the prelims, it was fantastic before you ducked out.
It was great, and I had that feeling. I almost put that out in the universe, saying once I stop watching, it's gonna go to crap.
And that didn't happen. That's not true.
It didn't happen. And actually, I actually thought the main event was actually a pretty decent fight. It didn't live up to the bar that was set by the prelims.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
But I thought it.
Yeah,
I don't think it deserved the negativeness it got.
I think probably a lot of it was. Yeah, I mean the bar was set really high. It's hard to keep up when you've got, especially on the main card, there was a round of the year contender already in there too.
that was,
which was wild.
Diaz Daly-esque.
we'll get to that one soon, or later on, I guess, in the show. After we go through contested rounds. But yeah, no, I think you raise a good point. Magomed Ankalaev and Thiago Santos wasn't like a stinker. They weren't just leaning on each other or having a staring contest, but it was, let's say it was more paced. It was more
calculated. It
really didn't pack a whole lot of excitement except for the one time where Thiago Santos actually had Ankalaev in a little bit of trouble.
And that's
trouble.
I mean, that was what, both guys respected each other's power. So I think that's what you're going to get a lot of times.
These fights will happen at light heavyweight and above, and even probably at middleweight too, depending on the guys. So
I mean, also Ankalaev's leg was purple, so it's not like Santos wasn't striking. No.
I don't think anybody thought that there was nothing happening. But again, we're talking about 25 minutes where there probably was only like one real raised, I guess, excitement level.
One high spot
encounter. One high spot, sure.
Yeah.
But that out of 25 minutes compared to, again, everything else, it doesn't stack up.
We got spoiled.
Probably did. That's probably fair. I'm glad you actually brought that up when you were talking about this before the show. I think you helped me put it in better perspective, so I appreciate that. But I guess the only question I really have coming off of this main card here, other than the fact that we had a lot of fun watching the prelims and the main card and everything like that, the main event here, Magomed Ankalaev, obviously the winner. How far is he from a title shot? Is he a fight away, 2 fights away? What's going on? What do you think?
You know what? I think he could be a fight away. It's really how they want to shape this division. I would imagine Blachowicz and Rakic, if they actually do fight. Again, like they said, they're going to reschedule it, but I think they would have first crack, whoever wins that. But if that doesn't happen, I would be, if I was Ankalaev, I'd be pushing to fight someone like Anthony Smith on the same card that Glover's fighting against Yuri Prohaska. Try to get on.
That I saw somewhere that Ankalaev is not looking forward to fighting Anthony Smith, actually, in particular.
Are they teammates or something, or?
No, I think he just didn't want the fight.
Doesn't. Oh, well, that's kind of weird. He's ahead of you, you got to fight him. Who else? You can't fight anybody else.
Depends on dismiss his fight with Anthony Smith following his victory.
Okay, then maybe try to swoop in and take that Rakic fight and do it the same night that Glover does it, so you're on the same schedule as the champ.
That's a possibility, I suppose. He said he deserves the next title shot. That's really where he's coming from. I don't think he wants to take a fight with Anthony Smith.
Oh, no.
Oh, let's see. Oh, and another thing here from the post fight. Anthony Smith was offered to fight. His quote: "Anthony Smith was offered to fight me before, and he wasn't interested, as I have said. Now I'm looking forward to the title shot next. I believe I deserve it." So there you go. There's some perceived he didn't want to fight me, so I don't want to fight him now.
All right, 3 fights before a title shot.
3 fights. Okay.
I changed my mind. Yep.
All right. You're very punitive in the way you react to things.
Well, he's the only guy available, except the champ.
Hey, we'll see. I mean, obviously, he's not going to get a title shot at this fight because this wasn't really anything that electrified anybody. He's really got to beat someone, I think, even higher up to actually make this the case there. It's probably a fight to me, but I don't know who it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
I do not know. There's also, just to throw a name out there, Jamal Hill.
Yeah, well, if he's not going to fight Anthony Smith, there's no shot he's going to risk Jamal Hill all the way that far behind him. It's like 6 spots behind him. So
yeah, well, who knows? I mean, it depends on the reasoning, I suppose, and the stakes that are involved and that kind of thing. But what I do like about this one is it's a fight between 2 guys who are obviously on their way up. Their only losses are to Paul Craig.
Yeah.
Paul Craig, by the way,
right?
he's a real one. He's an excellent fighter.
I like Paul Craig.
And we will actually be seeing him in action this weekend.
Yes.
Which we'll get to later, too. But let's shift over to Bellator before we get into contested rounds. Again, I know you don't love Bellator. You didn't watch much Bellator except for what I made you watch. And I don't think you even watched the entire main event because you're lame. But this was, I thought, a very fun fight.
From the round I watched, it looked like it was probably a good fight. But I stuck to my guns. I didn't want to go back on it. So I was like, "There's no way I can watch it now, and respect myself." So
that's true. That's true. And you couldn't just be like, "Yeah, fine, Scott, I watched it."
maybe tomorrow I'll feel different and I'll watch it. But
yeah, do it after the show. That's the better time.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought it was a fun fight. I'm always interested in particularly Adam Borics, who got the win over Mads Burnell, but. I've had my eye on him for a while. He's been a very interesting guy. Ever since they brought him in to face Aaron Pico, who I don't know what the thinking was there. Did they think they were just trying to give Aaron Pico a stiff test? Or did they just not realize that Aaron Borics was actually like a legit fighter? I don't know.
I don't know either.
That was at the Garden a few years ago. I was there for that one.
I remember that Pico losing kind of seemed like a shock to people, though. At least that's how it was received.
It was coming off of his first loss, too. That was the weird part. Is like, oh, he already lost. Let's give him someone who's probably even better. I think Borics is a really good fighter. And off of this win, I'm thinking he's probably got to be the next in line. It makes all the sense of the world. It seemed like a number one contenders fight. I think it was promoted as such, but I guess I never really take anything for granted in fight sport. So I always treat it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea that this would be against the winner of AJ McKee against Patricio Pitbull, that rematch that we're getting. Is that a fight that actually would interest you, though?
I would watch any
as
fight.
As a non-Bellator fan?
Any fight with AJ McKee, I will watch.
What about Pitbull?
Yeah, Pitbull, too. Pitbull's good, but he's kind of on the way out, I think.
He's obviously on the back 9 somewhere in there. I don't know where, but he's been an amazing fighter.
The thing is, we're just not, as fans, we're not getting the fights we deserve because these guys should be fighting the best competition in the world, and it's just not available to them. So,
well, I mean, that's a whole nother show. I don't think we want to get into that subject matter tonight.
There's just an insane. They fall off a cliff after these two. It just falls to the bottom. By like
in Bellator, you're saying
yes,
the quality
in Bellator.
I don't think that's fair. I mean, yeah, they're definitely better but it's not like Adam Borics is like the 70th best featherweight out there. I don't think
he's
that would be
18.
fair.
I think he's like 18.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But
considering that the UFC does have, yes, most of the best talent at 145 pounds, to consider the fact that Bellator has 3 of the top 18, honestly, the UFC should have a better market share than they do, but they don't.
I had 3 out of 18. It's not many.
Sure, but that's 1 out of 6. That's not bad.
I can't. No, I can't. They're not even trying. Bellator doesn't even try.
That isn't even true.
They don't even try.
They tried. They developed AJ McKee. They tried pretty good, and it worked.
One guy got to the top.
Patricio Pitbull.
That's it. One guy.
We don't have all day for this one, but
Bellator, I respect the officials that they bring in. That they bring in top-notch officials, and for that reason, I respect that. For those guys, I watched the fight for them. But Bellator, outside of that, really doesn't deserve my patronage.
Fair enough. Let's move on, though, to Bellator contested rounds, because we only have 2 of them, actually. And this was at an event in Missouri, in St. Louis in particular. So I didn't quite know what type of judges they were going to be able to bring in. I don't know if it was going to be, a lot of the traveling judges that weren't going to Vegas, or if it was going to be all local judges. And it was a majority of local judges, but we saw a couple of officials and referees as well. Jason Herzog was refereeing in the main event. We saw a couple of officials who, we typically see at other, Bellator or, other shows around, like Marcel Varela and Jared Vallel, veterans of different states and things like that. So it was good to see at least that it wasn't just purely a local level show for a Bellator on Strikeforce Showtime.
They don't even feel like Strikeforce. Strikeforce
No,
is
they
cool.
don't. I'm not. No, because it's Bellator. What do you want?
Sorry.
Of course, I don't feel like it anyway. But we do have, again, like I said, 2 rounds. Only 2 out of 21 had any disagreement, so they were really in lockstep here. I think a lot of it was just clear fights too. But we will go to the main event, actually, and one of the 2 rounds came in the third here. Adam Borics, of course, got the win over Mads Burnell. 2 scorecards of 49-46 out of 50-45, and we're talking about round 3 as the split. It's really just between whether did Borics have a shutout or did Burnell actually get this round. So, Dan, what happens in this round?
Basically a round, both guys stick their front foot in the tire and just slug it out, or you can say they fought in a phone booth, pretty much. I think that's how Big John put it. I don't think the bodywork's having the effect that they're saying it is, like, oh, it's hurting him. I think more of the effect from the bodywork is him dropping his hands to open the head up, and I think the headshots were really what were the most impactful from Burnell, and I think that's why he wins this round for me. Borics kept landing. He landed a decent amount, but I didn't think he had the same impact on there. I'm 10-9 Burnell.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a volume versus impact kind of thing, and really you're supposed to weigh that immediate impact more heavily. So that's why I also saw this one as a Burnell round. So I sided with, again, the traveling judges, Marcel Varela and Jared Vallel. It was local judge Travis Busking. Don't know if I'm saying it right. Give it a try. Who saw it for Borics here and gave all 5 rounds to the winner here. I don't think it's the strongest case. I guess you can probably argue it, depending on how impactful you thought some of the volume really was. But I just didn't see it from the television angle.
No, and I didn't appreciate them saying that judges don't weigh body work, because I really don't think body work was all that great as people were making it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was there.
No, that's fair.
And it opened the head.
Yeah.
So it's effective. But I mean, they weren't fight-ending strikes by any stretch. So
yeah, I mean, it's effective offense though.
You're right. It's effective, but it's not like they're not weighing it. That's my point. They are weighing it. I just don't think it's getting the weight you want it to get.
You think it's being weighted appropriately?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sounds fair to me. And then again, we only have one other round from Bellator. That includes the prelims too. So honestly, they were really, I don't know if it was just an easy show to judge or the judges just did a good job staying on the same page. But in the other main card fight that we're talking about here is Ghazi I'm going to say it wrong, but Rabadomov.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I think I got it right. We'll go with it. He got the win over J.J. Wilson. Another unanimous decision here, 229-28 and a 30-27. So we're looking at round one, whether Wilson got off to a good start or if it should have been a Rabatimov round. So what happens here?
Well, Wilson missed just about everything he threw, except for a few leg kicks. But Rabatimov.
We'll go with Rabatimov.
Rabatimov wasn't landing really anything of that much impact. Just his leg kicks were pretty good. Final minute, Wilson lands the front kick to the face and follows up with a couple punches, and those were the most immediate, impactful strikes of anything in this round, really. Mm-hmm. And I'm on him, 10-9 Wilson.
Yeah, I saw it as well. Kind of a weird round in the fact that there was, like, you have a lot of not happening, and then all of a sudden he just kind of takes it, right?
I do have a question about, because he throws a spinning back fist that's blocked, and then he shakes his hand like, ow, that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Rabatimov should get points for that.
That's not a question.
Well, does he get points for that?
Oh. I would say no. It's not like he did anything to make it happen. He placed his, I don't know, he blocked it, I guess.
But if you check a kick and you hurt the guy's shin, is it different than that?
I don't know.
I'm not saying break.
I guess it's a fair question.
I'm not saying break the shin like Weidman or Silva, but I'm saying a nice lump develops over that. Or now say Wilson isn't able to throw his right hand anymore because he broke it.
I wonder, I'm not the authority on this, so yeah, maybe that is worth fielding a question from anybody who feels like writing into Dan or I. You know how to hit us up on social media, so go that route if you'd like. But we can move on though, and finally get out of the Bellator Hellator for Dan here. Moving on, that's what you should call it, Hellator. I just thought of that.
I mean, they do have some good fights from time to time.
They have some really good fighters and fights, and they've homegrown a lot of them, too. We don't have all day for this show because it's super late.
They have some.
There's some. I texted you a bunch of them yesterday.
You gave me, like...
Dan had a very heated argument. I called him names.
I wasn't heated. You were heated? I wasn't heated.
No, I was just joking.
A lot of mine was...
No, I'm playing everything. We're trying to sell a show here, man.
Yeah, that's why we're remote
put some
tonight.
Drama in.
That's why we're remote. We can't be trusted in the same room.
That's why I sent like a bomb to you in the mail. I did not do that. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. We'll get that. Put that fire out. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. We should move on though to UFC. Starting with the main event too. Ankalaev got the win over Thiago Santos. It was 2 49-46s and 1 48-47, which I feel like portrayed the fight, closer than it really was, just that one score. But I think we all know what we saw in the 49-46s are probably more representative, but that doesn't matter anyway, because we score each round individually. We're talking about round one as the only split here. So Dan, why are we talking about round one?
To be honest, I'm kind of shocked we're talking about this round. I didn't think Santos landed anything decent besides a couple leg kicks. Ankalaev even wobbled him a couple times with the punches he landed. I mean, it's a low output round, but I think the difference in the effect is pretty clear. So I'm a bit shocked that we are actually talking about this round. I'm 10-9 Ankalaev.
Why do you hate Mike Bell?
I love Mike Bell.
What do you have against Mike Bell?
I mean, he's cage side. Maybe he saw it a little different than I did, but from on TV, it was pretty clear to me.
I guess I was a little bit surprised that this one didn't go all the way unanimous, but I still don't think it's the craziest round to go the other way as Mike Bell did in this case. I don't think I saw it that way. I've seen more defensible rounds, from our seat at home, of course. But yeah, it really did seem like the impact and everything was on Ankalaev's side here. I thought it was a pretty strong, not strong, but solid, close but clear round for Magomed Ankalaev to get off to the start here. So, I both sided with Derek Cleary and Sal D'Amato instead of Mike Bell. And Mike Bell, actually, he's the out judge a couple times in this card here, including the next fight that we're going to bring up, sir, and that is Sodiq Yusuff, who got the win over Alex Caceres. Unanimous decision, 2 30-27s and 1 29-28. So now we're only talking about, again, round one. What'd you say?
I thought it was a close round. Caceres gets an early takedown to side control, almost has the back in a scramble. Then it's back on the feet. Really nothing developed out of that. Both guys landed a couple shots, and then Yusuff started using his own wrestling, mainly to keep Caceres on the cage, landing some knees to the legs. Sodiq does land a decent head kick when they are at distance, but I think the difference in the round is Caceres landing these 3 really solid lefts to the head, 2 straights, and then an uppercut in like a 10-second period. After that, Youssef really was just trying to clinch against the cage and land a couple of knees. And, to close out the round, or at least close to the end of the round, Caceres, has the neck wrapped up. He just doesn't have control of the rest of the body. But I think it's a Caceres round 10-9.
Yeah, I do too. I ended up signing with Caceres as well. Yeah, it came on much stronger at the end. I think this is a kind of a case where, yes, the way he closed the round actually did make it a lot easier to give him the round. Sometimes that does happen, less often than I think people want to believe it does, but I think that's the case here. So you and I are both on the same page as Mike Bell.
Hey, couch side override.
So we went against, in that case, Adelaide Bird and Sal D'Amato. So they were the majority here from the judges. I think it's defensible. I think it's very defensible.
Yeah, I think it's fine either way.
And it didn't end up mattering at all because Youssef won the fight very easily. Well, not easily, but you know what I mean. Cleanly, I suppose.
It wasn't up for debate.
No, certainly not. So. I don't think anyone. I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who didn't have action on the line for Caceres to make a counter argument. We can move on though to a little earlier down the card, Khalil Roundtree, who got a vicious round 2 TKO against Carl Roberson. That one was intense.
Wild.
That was great. He really brings the violence. He had the oblique kick win, I think, last year, right?
Yeah. That people wanted that kick banned. What a silly thought.
Man, I tell you, I was on that side too. I'm not gonna stay shy away from it. I still think it's kind of a tough thing, but I don't know. Maybe I was speaking from emotion in that day.
Listen, okay, I'll give you this. I will trade that kick to have 12-6 elbows.
Yep, even trade.
All right,
I'll take it. Done deal.
All right,
just
cool.
like that Yankees trade that kept me.
Later than I
wanted to.
I'm still not sure how I feel about it 100%.
My understanding is from a bunch of other people have spoken to, like reporters speaking to scouts and things like that. They're kind of split on how they feel about this trade. The trade, by the way, if you're a Yankees fan or a baseball fan, is essentially the Yankees sent out Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela in exchange for Josh Donaldson of the Twins and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, plus catching. I think he's a prospect, right?
Another catcher, yeah.
Yeah, another catcher. Yeah, so Dan's kind of ambivalent on that. It's a lot of major league talent. You don't see a lot of major league talent go both ways in a trade. But we got that's weird.
That's you know what I'm thinking. I'm kind of wondering if Oakland told the Yankees, "Hey, get these pieces for us, and then we'll talk Olsen."
Oh, that's right.
That's what I'm hoping for. I still want to see Garrett Cole and Josh Donaldson in a Bellator cage, because I'll tune into that one on pay-per-view.
What I was going to say though was that in speaking with scouts, a lot of reporters, or at least some reporter, was saying that the consensus is that the Yankees are definitely not done. So there you go. Maybe that feeds into it for you.
I hope so.
But back to the fights instead of the fights that could happen in the locker room between teammates now. Why are we talking about round 1 of Roundtree Roberson?
I think this is a really close round. They came out very aggressive, and then they kind of just stopped and stared at each other for about 2 minutes. I guess the big boys, they got a little tired. I think
Roundtree was saving up.
I think Roberson's kicks and knees were the difference. He landed a few solid leg kicks, front kick to the face, and a jumping knee to the head. Roundtree lands a few straights that back Roberson all the way against the cage, and he probably would have taken the round had he landed a few more of those. But I just don't think he overcame what Roberson did. So I'm 10-9 Roberson.
Yeah, I guess I really did think he overcame. So that was really what it came down to, is like, how do you really feel about that particular sequence, compared to the rest of the rounds and that kind of thing. So that's where I went. Very close round. I have no arguments against you. I don't even want to debate it, honestly.
Yeah, it feels like these are two guys that are missing a letter in their name.
I had the same thought. You got Roundtree, which you want to say Roundtree, but it's not. And you got Roberson, or Robertson, who you really want to say Robertson. Yeah.
Yep.
I had the exact same thoughts there.
My fingers did not agree. I had a lot of typos.
I think I'm too used to it with these guys. But Derek Cleary and Dave Hagen were the majority judges. I saw it the same way as them. You saw it as Junichiro Kamijo did. So you and I are not agreeing here. No one gets an override. You and I are split. It's a couch side judges split. Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot of that. I feel like you and I agree a lot.
We're seeing things similar. We probably have a similar understanding of how, at least how we're viewing or understanding the criteria. So
we have a similar understanding of the criteria. Do we have the right understanding of the criteria is what's up for debate. Yeah. But I don't think it's that debatable that you and I see it the same way.
Oh no, we see it the same way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Mostly.
Mostly, except when you're way wrong, which sometimes you are. Two more rounds here, my friend. We're kind of in the home stretch. There's not a whole lot really going on. There really wasn't. I don't think anybody got super mad about the scorecards this particular weekend, which was really good. Penultimate round we will do comes in the first round once again of the curtain jerker of the card, which was Azamat Mirzakhanov, a K Dojo trainee,
yeah.
right over in Fairfield, right by us.
Yeah.
K Dojo used to have a little cross mixing of the training back in the day when you and I were training together at AMA.
Yeah.
Which is how we got to experience being in the same gym as one Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Habib, Aslan Amagov.
Aslan,
yeah. Adlan. I'm sorry.
Adlan.
Yeah.
Adlan.
Yeah.
Aslan is the lion from Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not quite. Yeah, different religious philosophies there too. But round one, of course, to get back to this, he got the win, by the way, over Tafan and Chukwi by a vicious flying knee in the third round. I when I was watching live, I missed most of this fight except for the flying knee. I just happened to look up at the right time and I saw like this beautiful flying knee from a large man. I was like, this is amazing. Usually you miss everything but the best strike. In this case, it was the opposite.
The funny thing about the knee is they had like a great angle where he lands the knee and he just shoves him to the ground with a little extra oomph. Like, I'm done with you.
There you go.
So
I like it. That's kind of that Jersey swagger he's starting to pick up being in our area. we'll just take credit for it. But yeah, so this was round one. I did end up going back and watching it. Of course, I always watch these rounds before I talk about them. Can't just wing it. That's just silly. Why are we talking about this round though? Why is this a potential close round here?
I think this is another round of impact versus volume.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. I think Mirzakhanov's is that's how you say Mirzakhanov.
I think it's Mirzakhanov. No, I don't know. What do I know?
Mirzakhanov. I think he's definitely landing with much more fight-ending intention. And Chukwi, he's keeping pace in terms of volume, but really the heavy shots are coming for Mirzakhanov. And then around 2 minutes left, Mirzakhanov is wishing that Scott's in charge, and that rounds are now only 3 minutes because he was like, nah, I'm good, we're done. And pretty much shut his offense off for the most part, which I think is probably the reason for why this round becomes close. I mean, he's starting to gas, and Chukwi doesn't really take much advantage, but at least he's the one that has offense during this period. But I still think Mirzakhanov wins it 10-9.
Yeah, I also had it from Mirzakhanov. You're going to mess me up. Because my understanding is it's Mirzakhanov. We just disagree on that.
I keep forgetting how to say it.
I don't know. We're probably both wrong.
Mirzakhanov.
If we were to go to, not that this is the best place to go right now, but if we were to go to Russia and we were to try and pronounce that name, I don't think we'd get very far.
Mirzakhanov.
Mirzakhanov.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you and I sided with, of course, Mirzakhanov. Judges Doug Crosby and Sal D'Amato saw it the same way as you and I did. It was Adelaide Bird who was the outjudge, seeing this for Nchukwi. There's an argument. It's debatable enough, I think.
Yeah, I'm okay. Really, it's kind of
No, you're not sure how I feel about this one.
It's mainly because Mirzakhanov got it right.
There you go.
Allows it to become close and clouds it a bit. So
sure, and that's fair. I mean, as long as you can justify it using the criteria, it's not misapplied, and that's really where a judge fails, is if they misapply the criteria.
Yep.
And I don't think that's the case here. So we are moving on now to the final round of contested rounds. This was a third round that had almost no meaning on the scorecards, barring some sort of finish or crazy 10-8 situation. Javed Basharat, who apparently got a win at the same time as his brother fighting in another promotion. Good for him. Good for that family. He got the win here over Trevin Jones via unanimous decision, 2 30-27s and 1 29-28. It's, again, this third round here is split. What happens?
This is a tough round to score. Initially, when I'm watching, I said, "Oh, why are we talking about this round? Do I have the right round again?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's why." Starts out with Basharat walking Jones down, staying in his face, landing strikes. Jones is throwing his own strikes, but they're always something's being returned by Basharat, and that's not the case with Jones when he's getting hit. Mm-hmm. It's not a blowout, but I think it's definitely pretty clear for Basharat in that first half. And the second half of the round, Jones turns it up a bit. He starts landing some really solid shots. Probably the best shots of the round from either guy.
Well, he's got a little more urgency here. He knows he's going to lose.
Yeah. But then Basharat lands a spinning head kick some good leg kicks. I think it's a real tough round, but I think Basharat wins it, despite the surge from Jones.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he did enough to hold on to that round and not kind of squander it, I guess, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it is still a round that really all he needed to do was survive and not be in like danger mode, and he got the win.
Yep.
It doesn't take open scoring for you to figure that out. So that's one thing when not to go crazy tangent of open scoring here, because we kind of just want to wrap this up. It's been a long night. But you hear the arguments like, oh, they're just going to coast if it's open scoring. They know they're up. It's like, they know they're up a lot of the time, and they fight the same way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. There's really no coasting.
I feel like it may happen occasionally. You might get that happen, but I think you might also get some very interesting things happen as a result of open scoring. Fighters actually knowing for sure that they're down, and they're like, I'm going to press. And if a fighter starts to coast, maybe they lose. It happens.
Yeah. I like open scoring. I mean, it's not a tool to fix judging, as most people think. That's the reason behind it. So
no, definitely not. Certainly not. And we'll spend another episode talking about open scoring, I'm sure. But that is it for contested rounds. Moving on to our favorite finishes of, I guess we could do the weekend, but I think because we had such electric fights in Vegas this time, it's easy to just say, hey, all of ours came from the UFC Apex.
yeah,
8 finishes in all. 5 by TKO or KO, 3 by sub. 4 of them ended in the first round. So among those, what was your favorite, sir?
Khalil Roundtree just absolutely smashing Carl Roberson like he owed him money. Just like on the street, you see the guy that owes you money, you just start beating the crap out of him. That's what it looked like.
Now I know you didn't watch live, so you were kind of catching up. Did you happen to watch his post fight?
I watched the post fight interview.
What did you think of it? I thought it was
good.
Very emotional.
You should. I mean, he wants a platform. And I think they all deserve their own platform, even whether they have a title or not, or whether they're a big draw or not. So
I just thought it was the sentiment was nice. He also he was asked at the post fight press conference to kind of elaborate a little more, and I guess the question was, and I think it came from Alex Mahunin. So I'll credit him if that is the case. The question was, what you would tell someone else who maybe was feeling kind of the same way that he was about, being in a low point and thinking about the taking extreme measures, just taking one's life. It was also very powerful and emotional too. It was, kind of just, remember that you're special, and there is another day, just give it another day, that kind of thing. I just thought it was very powerful stuff. So it was nice to hear that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a new story to me because I watched Tough.
Okay.
So I was aware of that. I didn't know. I didn't know how much he wanted to actually, be that role model for people. So.
No, I don't watch Tough, so I miss out on some of the stories, I guess, when it comes to those kind of guys. Unless if I'm praying to speak to somebody, in some cases I am preparing for an interview or something like that, I'll deep dive in and try to learn more about them. But no, I didn't know much about Roundtree's stories. So that was nice to see. But I have to go with my favorite finish here. It probably comes from that round of the year we referenced earlier, which was when Drew Dober got a finish of Terrence McKinney. I mean, this probably is the clubhouse leader for round of the year.
I would think so.
It was just a wild fight. I mean, I thought for sure Terrence McKinney was going to finish Dober in like the first 45 seconds.
I think
he thought several times. Yeah. And sure enough, they go back and forth. There's all sorts of craziness. Dober survives, and finally he gets, what was it, a knee that finished it, right? Was that kind of led to the finishing sequence? Was a knee? Am I misremembering? It's been a very long night for me.
Actually, now I'm misremembering because I remember McKinney landing a knee, a couple knees. I think he landed that dropped Dober. I don't remember what Dober dropped McKinney with, but it was.
Yeah, I think it was a knee. I believe it was a knee that started the finishing sequence. And he kind of followed up on the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just a fantastic fight. One of those fights that you can definitely show anyone who, if you're trying to get them into, combat sports, mixed martial arts, and say, hey, you got 3 minutes, let's watch this.
Yeah, I think this is one to show someone that's looking for what fight should I watch to get into this. So.
Yeah, I think so too. But again, it was a cart full of excellent finishes. Those were just 2 of many. So I would encourage anybody, if you did happen to miss it or any of these fights, I would go back and watch any of the finishes. I think everyone really stood out in these fights. The decisions were, the ones that went the distance, they were fine to, solid, I think. I don't think we had any heavyweight stinkers.
No, Song Yadong, that's a guy to watch though. So
he was fire.
yeah,
And I don't really know what we're gonna see out of Marlon Moraes anymore.
well, it looked like he retired.
I mean, he looked like he took off the gloves. Is that symbolic of that? Is he? Who knows? Who really knows? Maybe he was fighting out his contract too. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
Because if I recall, I want to say that Benson Henderson also took off his gloves when he had his last fight for the UFC, and that wasn't a retirement; it was just doing that. So who knows? I guess we'll let that play out. I don't want to speculate too much, but looking ahead now, the UFC train rolls on, and it actually moves away from Vegas for a fight night for the first time in 2 years. I think it was the last time they were in. I guess the Jacksonville technically was some fight nights.
Yeah, Jacksonville had fight nights.
I think that's pretty much it, though.
That might be it.
I don't want to. You know what? We'll also, I guess, we have to mention Fight Island in there as well.
Yeah, you got to mention.
But we're talking about controlled environments in both of those cases. I think this is the first time that they're taking a fight night on the road in front of a crowd in a very long time since pre-pandemic.
Yeah,
that might have been. Oh, gosh, was it the New Mexico card that we talked about on one of our very early shows?
Yeah, when John Jones was in the crowd after Blachowicz won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a strange time. Diego Sanchez that day, I believe that was the one he won by disqualification.
Yep.
Played the game smartly. And then he actually just fought this weekend too. So full circle.
I heard he didn't look that bad.
I didn't get to watch it, honestly. But my understanding is, he looked better than I think I think everybody had kind of written him off as like just totally baked. And I think probably a lot of that was just a product of him being with the wrong people. Now, we're talking about hindsight here. I'm sure I would have said the same thing. I didn't really give it too much thought, but it looks like he could still fight. Kevin Lee definitely didn't fight. He seemed to almost fight down to his competition based on what everyone was saying. But again, I didn't watch it. I know he got hurt mid-fight, so that obviously affects things too. Yeah. But he's definitely a fighter, Lee, that you kind of had higher hopes for than he's been able to achieve in the cage. So hopefully his knee's okay and he's not going to be missing a lot of time. But we're talking about UFC London here again, and this, at least for those stateside, will be taking place Saturday afternoon. I think they set a 4 p.m. main card Eastern.
No, I think it's 1 p.m.
Was it? It was 1 p.m. main card?
I think it's 1 p.m. because that'd be a 7 o'clock start over there.
I guess that could be.
That's what Tapology. Tapology says 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, but are they talking about the prelims of the main card?
They usually talk about the main card. I mean, we can double check.
Why don't we double check for our listeners here? Well, and while I do that, I will at least set up the headliner here is Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall, a heavyweight headliner. I can only assume Alexander Volkov will not have travel restrictions or isn't leaving Russia or something like that right now with all of the craziness going on in that part of the world. I don't know where he is, but hopefully for his sake, if nothing else, then he's able to get there and everyone gets the fight, because it is an interesting fight between the two of them. I like Tom Aspinall's prospect. I got the sense that he just wasn't necessarily looking to rush himself to this point against for lack of, I might as well walk into the pun, rushing into a Russian. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to. It just happened. Sometimes these puns
all right, 1 p.m. I guess the 1 p.m. It looks like the whole event is starting at 1.
See, that's what I thought. I could have swore that I heard Brendan Fitzgerald saying it was a 4 p.m. main card during the broadcast. So that was kind of why it stuck in my head. But
okay.
Yeah, either way, it's the afternoon. You'll have 3 nights, fight fans for once in a while. Yeah, what do you think of Volkov and Aspinall?
This is similar to Dawkins and Derek Lewis. Can these up and comers rise to the challenge and earn their spot amongst the top of the division?
In that sense, that there's a similar dynamic there. It's obviously a very different case here in that you've got Alexander Volkov, who, he can hit you pretty hard. He's a solid striker, good kickboxing, but he doesn't have that Derek Lewis bomb that's just waiting to go off, as unfortunately Chris Dawkins was met with in their fight.
I like Aspinall in this one to actually do get the win, though.
I think so too. He does seem to have some depth to his game, and I think that will serve him well here. So I would say I'm going to say round 3 TKO.
Yeah, I definitely think I think he gets a finish round 4 TKO.
All right, and this, of course, being in London, we can expect some international judges here. I would imagine we will see some local judges, probably a Ben Cartledge or David Leatherby. Maybe we'll get some of the international judges that we've seen in the past, like an Anders Olsen over from Sweden, or Clemens Werner, who he actually sports one of the very best percentages of being in the majority in among the traveling judges. We can count him as a traveling judge. He obviously doesn't when he judges UFC, he's not in Germany. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of these officials in there again. I don't know if any American officials are coming over or not, but yeah, I expect the level of judging will be high.
Also, Cage Warriors is Friday in London, so.
Oh yeah, okay.
I would imagine they can get it's only 7-fight card, nice warm up into the weekend.
Could be a little bit of a crossover there.
Yeah, heading into the UFC, ready to go.
There you go. Bunch of fights on this card actually. I like, Dan. What jumps out at you?
Yeah,
first?
they kind of stacked this card a bit for their first fight night out of the Apex
with a little bit of local flavor on it. Actually,
yeah.
A lot, but.
Gunnar Nelson, Takashi Sato. It's pretty interesting. I would suspect Nelson's going to sub him.
I'm just not very interested in Gunnar Nelson fights anymore. But all right, I know he's a thing.
He plays the ground game. I like the ground game.
No, I like the ground game too. But after I saw him get tooled by Damian Maia, just it wasn't.
Well,
as
a lot of people get tooled by Damian Maia.
I get it, but oh my god, I think did he actually land a strike in 3 rounds?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure if he did.
I don't know.
That was a very strange fight.
There's some good fights here. Ilya Topuria is opening the card, which is kind of crazy.
No, he's not opening the whole card, is he?
He was the number 1 fight at one point. I don't know if they changed it, but I know I saw him versus Herbert was the absolute number 1 prelim.
I'm not sure if that's the case. That could have just been an old one, but yeah.
I mean, it's very possible it changes, but
by the way, Damian Maia against Gunnar Nelson. Total strikes landed. Damian Maia, 193. Gunnar Nelson, 7. So they combined for 200.
Any 10-8s in there, I wonder?
It was, actually, Adelaide Bird was the only one who gave 1 10-8.
There
were
Adelaide.
2 from Derek Cleary and Sal D'Amato.
Nice.
Yeah, that was exceptionally lopsided. That was on the Aldo McGregor card, actually. Big night for SBG, but not for him. Anyway, I'm actually much more excited for it. Yeah, I do like Ilya Topuria. I don't necessarily love him against Jai Herbert. That seems like was that one that was like a late replacement kind of situation? I don't remember.
I don't know.
That one's not super interesting to me as far as the opponent. I think he's probably ready for someone higher up, but
yeah. Just to see him fight.
You know what? Yeah, I want to say that Topuria is usually a featherweight, right? I think he's a ranked featherweight. Am I wrong? Because this one's at 155.
Yeah, he's a featherweight. Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's going up.
I meant to look up why this happened, but
there was Mike Davis withdrew.
Okay, so he just kind of stepped in to get a fight because I know he was pulled from his fight recently as well. So, but that's at least he'll get some action in there. I'm much more interested in the man we mentioned earlier, Paul Craig, going against Nikita Krylov, who he is actually he's also from that strange that unfortunate part of the world right now. He's from Ukraine. I believe he's also of Russian descent too. So there's a lot of emotions coming, emotional fighters coming into these fights lately. It's hard to ignore it. So, but yeah, him going against Paul Craig, who will be fighting at least close enough to Scotland. It's it's England, it's not Scotland, but hopefully for his sake, a couple of Scots will be able to come down there and give him support. I like him to win that one. I like Topuria to win as well.
Yeah, me as well. Paul Craig by triangle though.
And I don't think I made a pick for Nelson and Sato. I'll say Nelson. And I'm going to say Paul Craig by Gogo Plata because I just want it.
It's possible.
I just want it. If I will it to happen, maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, and we have to talk about the other one here, Dan Hooker, Arnold Allen.
Yeah, I like that one. I've been a big fan of Arnold Allen. I think if he gets a win here, that's, despite the fact that it's Hooker coming down from lightweight here, I think at least sets him up for a much bigger fight, potentially getting that, very close to that title shot.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think I have to pick Allen here. I just don't know how Dan Hooker's body's going to respond down at 45 again. I think that was a hard weight for him. Maybe he's doing better now with it, but he's also coming off some losses, so he's not really been in the best way career-wise.
I'm going to pick Dan Hooker just to be on the other side.
That's fine. I'm going to say decision. I think it'll go the
A
distance.
nice violent fight. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
And Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah, Paddy Pimblett's on here too. I had to put him on here because obviously he's kind of someone everybody talks about. I don't really know what to view him as. He's obviously a prospect, but like people treat him like he's something more.
He's a personality.
He is.
I hope he smashes because I pulled 2 Paddy Pimblett NFTs from the UFC strike, and I just want his value to keep going up. So keep smashing, Paddy.
Okay, so this is kind of like having a rookie card, and you want them to become a star.
Yep.
All right. Are you going to sell high, or are you going to keep this forever?
Oh, I'm ready to sell. The second I can get my money back for that pack, I'm selling.
If you're interested in trading NFTs with Dan, you can I'm sure DM him, right? You'll figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
All right. The other one I wanted to point out I like too is Nathaniel Wood back in action against Vince Morales at 135 pounds. I like that fight too. I by the way, Paddy Pimblett's going to win. I'm going to say round 2 TKO.
Round 1 TKO.
He's being set up to win. This is a showcase fight.
Oh yeah.
I like Wood here too. I'm going to say Wood by decision over Morales.
No, I'm going with Morales.
Oh, okay.
Knockout.
Ooh, we're way opposites now.
Knockout round 1.
I guess we'll see how it goes.
We will see.
And that does it for the Couchside Judges. Thanks for bearing with us as we had a little bit of technical difficulties. I think we made it work, right, Dan?
Yeah, it'll come together.
Don't you worry about it. And we will, of course, be back, hopefully in person next time. Hopefully I won't be up so late off of work. So thanks for listening, everybody, and enjoy the week.
Take care, everyone.